We're live and we're on time. It's an important thing, being punctual. Maybe some other people could learn how to be punctual. Turn up on streams on time. Alright. By the way, sorry for the base cam's a little weird because I had to go back to using the USB camera. I'm waiting on some micro HDMI cables to show up. I've rearranged the workshop rather completely, and so I'm in a new position, new setup, so things are going to be a little bit different, but hopefully not too bad. So, shots fired, yep. Oh, hello, Joey. I was actually referring to some other people. Dear. Anyway, and my screens are in different spots. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but I'm trying to work it out. These things do take time, I'm afraid. Alright, I'm just adjusting stuff. Anyway, today I received my circuit boards for the Compass controller. And unfortunately, though, of course, some cables that I wanted didn't show up. So, there, I don't know where they are. They're supposed to be here today, but they didn't. I haven't even had a chance to... Oh, I got a stencil for it as well. And these are the boards. They haven't even been opened up yet. Xiaomi Redmi 9C stops charging 24. Twist to bend the case light starts charging full speed again. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I don't know those phones. It's not the charge port, is it by chance? Hey, Bodger, John, Blood, Pedro's here. Good, Zoltan. Electro Rep, Gear. Alright. So, anyway, let's see if we can open this up without opening myself up. Okay, that was close. I think we only need one board for tonight. So, I mean, we already know the technical details of it working fine. This is a case of trying to make a better implementation. I was hoping that my DC jack cables would arrive. Basically, it's a DC jack to DC jack. So, the idea being that you have the 24 volts come in over here. It then gets switched and then sent out, and there's no cutting of cables or anything like that. It's just plug, nice and easy. But we don't have those cables here, so we're just going to have to make do. Anyway, let's see if we can build it. Sorry, dinner's catching up with me. I had butter chicken tonight, butter curry chicken kind of thing. Homemade. Oh yeah, they love to scratch the hell out of this. It's their sanding finish. You can... Oh, they actually bent it too. When they guillotined it, they probably bent it. It's a risk I take because I'm asking for a smaller stencil from what the standard sheet size is. And if you get a little bit too close to the edge, you risk, the guillotine not doing its job so well and crimping things over. Yeah, that should work. That is a very bizarro problem. Let's see. Paul's crappy schematics. And we added an important feature on this one. We've got a LED to indicate when the port is actually active. Very important to have that kind of thing. Status indications. We have dropped the relay on it. We're going to just try to go for the MOSFET option. But to protect things, I have also put some TVS, ESD type diodes on the various buses. Unfortunately, they aren't here today. They're coming with the cables. I just didn't want to wait around for this job. I just wanted to get it out of the way because it's been pretty, excuse my language, but it's been a real shit week so far. Dead jobs. Yeah, it's crap. I'm still waiting for the Nintendo parts to show up from various sources. Yeah, it's just the last few weeks have not been overly inspiring when it comes to repair jobs, but yeah, you go through these dark phases. You do come out the other side of it, of course, but sometimes it can be a little bit taxing going through it. Anyway, let's see if we can have some fun and build this. Hopefully Creature won't show up and ruin the fun. I'm just going to find some surplus boards for me to waste away on this. Yeah, you guys should do just fine. Actually, no, I won't use you. I had big sheets of boards around. Oh well, clearly I do not. I do. Lives in a secret hiding place. And I've got to find my squeegee. Okay. Hey, Dreams. Monday, 17th of June, Brisbane. Yeah, like Brisbane on Monday. It should be here tomorrow, all going according to theory, but probably will not be here until next week. Brisbane is basically, it goes from Brisbane to Townsville, from Townsville to here. In theory. I wonder if I can do this without having to have any support. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about the diodes, the protection diodes. I don't need them. They're just there for safety's sake. It's kind of like with MacBooks or a lot of USB stuff. You can drop off those ESD diodes and they still work until something comes along, and well, that's a pretty good match. As you would expect, it would be a good match. What have I got here? The only trouble with these smaller stencil sheets is they don't make the nice little wobble noise. You can't just go wobble. Yeah, anyway, I'll shut up. Okay, I'm actually going to tape this because I don't want it shifting around too much as I do the application. It kind of seems silly just for a single one, but I want to try and do a better job. Hey Lalo, welcome. Okay, some fake Captain tape. It's really just yellow plastic tape. It's definitely not, what do you call it? Wow, brain's not working. I was going to say calamine or whatever. Polyamide, that's it. That's what I wanted. Yeah, Crapton tape for sure. And hopefully the cables will arrive tomorrow for the micro HDMI, and then I can ditch this USB webcam and get back to my proper HDMI one, 4K. Oh, shut the flip up, you stupid cars. So sick of the traffic. Alright, last little smidges of tape here. I'm just going to see if I can bring in this a bit closer. There you go. There's going to be a number of inefficiencies here simply because of the fact that I still haven't completely reorganized all my stuff here. So I've got numerous plastic containers that are just full of whatever I shoved off the desk at the time. So, oh well, at least I know it's here. In a way, I kind of wanted that the other way around. Oh well. That's massively more than I need. But that's the thing when you're doing stenciling, you basically got to overdo your pasting. Okay, that's that done. And that basically goes into the rubbish. You don't mind so much that going into the rubbish when it's only costing you a couple of dollars a tube. But when it's a lot more money per tube, then you start to go, I might try and save that. And that's probably a bad idea. Where is everything? There we go. Stupid thing is, I'm probably only going to make one of these. I've got a stencil it. Sometimes it's fun just to try out new things. Let's see. Vacuum. Oh, geez. Where the hell's my pick and place vacuum tool? This is what I'm talking about. All the things that you just assume are going to be around, and then you go, oh, wait, yeah, no, I shoved that somewhere during my mayhem. Oh, God. I do not want to use tweezers to do this. Ah, found it. Whew, thank goodness for that. The phone has repeatedly dropped, kicked, bent. Yeah, that sounds like a real yuck phone there, Zoltan. Sort of thing where once I get to that kind of level of damage, I'm like, get the data off, move to a new one. A lot of people are like, oh, it works fine, display's okay. It's like, yeah, until the day it dies. And then you're all like, why is it dead? I took all my data with it. I forgot to back it up, even though you told me 50 billion times to back it up. Okay. Hey, Ed Boss, welcome. Yeah, hey, Miles. That's right, I never clean up the workbench. Alright, so this is mostly sort of USB-C meter type construction, so we'll grab the USB-C meter quick pack, so to speak. That. I'm still waiting for my 200 by 200 millimeter, what do you call it, blah, 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 what am I talking about, hot plate, waiting for that to arrive. So we need 2 jacks. I'm only 1 jack, so that doesn't count. It is funny that a quarter of a century ago, terrifyingly, when I was living in South Africa, nobody knew me as Paul. Everybody just knew me as Jack. if anyone said, "Oh, go ask," yeah, if anyone sort of said, "Who's Paul?" It's like, no one knows who Paul is. We've got this IT guy called Jack. That's about it. It was an interesting living sort of experience. Because the worst thing about being Australian in South Africa is everybody sort of asking you how the sheep are. And, the joke's funny once or twice, even though it's not that funny. And then after a while you kind of go, yeah, whatever. You get sick of it. So really, I never heard that before. What a novel joke. Okay, I'm just going through the parts here and randomly dropping them down as I need them. 150. Yeah, blind budget, that's the other thing. Jack of all trades. Master of none, unfortunately. Okay, I've got a bit of shadowing here, and that's kind of weird because the lights are actually in front of me. They're clearly not enough. Oh, one you actually spoke to a Welsh person. That's quite interesting. I didn't realise until I was over there that Welsh have, their own very different kind of language and everything. I guess I just was naive or just simply didn't know. Because all of the Welsh people I knew spoke English, so yeah, that was a bit of a interesting wake-up call. And for most people, I mean, Tom Jones is probably the most Welsh person they know. Oh, okay, Ashes, you are Welsh, but you don't speak Welsh. So what is actually the Welsh language called or anything, if you can call it that? Is it just Welsh? Ah, damn it. I've forgotten the LED orientation here. 2 dots. What did I say? 2 dots negative or 2 dots... Oh, jeez, I don't know. LED markings suck at this scale. They really do suck at this scale. Okay, I'm doing a 300 ohm LED on that one. And I'll probably do a 300 on the other one too. Or actually 1K. They're getting a bit too bright. What are the Simrac? Yeah, see, I can't even speak that, let alone assume to speak the language itself. We need some MOSFETs, and we'll use our PMV31XN, which is our favorite little MOSFET. It may be old, but it is mighty. And let's see, get ourselves some LED options here. Let's see, red 805 low. See, now these ones I like because I've got the dots in a way that I can actually orientate them. The green little dots are on the top of the LED itself. You don't have to wonder or anything like that, it's right there. Okay, diodes. Okay, 330 for the on resistor. Let's see. 1K5 to the gate. Really, with this, the gate drive, you can get away with almost anything. So long as your gate pull down is about a magnitude more than your gate drive, you should be good. VREG, that's right. These AP220s. And what I realized, I need to find a dual diode. Yeah, I'll stick my 7805 down first and a couple of other bits and pieces. Oops. You can get in there. Give me a 7805 assemblief. Donkey. What's this? Search for Welsh mountains and then try to pronounce them. It sounds like a good party trick. Torturous party things to do. Yeah, so even though I don't have the protection diodes, what I do want is this combining diode here. And its purpose is that basically it will either supply, whichever is higher, it will either supply the 5 volts required for the 3.3 volt regulator from the USB mini or from the power being bought in. Hey, Marktable. And I don't know if I have one of those. I know I have bought... Well, I could just actually steal one from a MacBook, come to think of it. That's all I've got to do, because the MacBook... what the hell is wrong with me? MacBook A1466s, for instance, they just have them. Because if you want the 3V42 section being fed, then yeah, you use a dual diode for that. Okay, schematics. Let me 165, 165, 165. Wow, that's sad. So sad. I don't have a 165 listed up there in my recent files. And God, I hate this new over paranoid software bullshit rules. Like, I'm trying, unless you knew to expect it, when I clicked open there, it didn't show you the open dialog, but it was open. It's just that it was opened underneath the application. And it's just such the biggest load of bullshit, this security theater fuckery, where you're destroying the usability of software by not doing what would be normally expected. So normally if you open up the file open dialog, you expect it to come to the top. But they're like, no, we can't have that. Nope, not allowed. Nope, can't make a window come over the top of the other. And it's like, fuck off already. Just stop screwing with what works. All because of your bullshit security theater. It's a load of fucking crap. It really is, and it's just pissed me off beyond no end. Fucking nerds. Alright, anyway, this is what I'm looking for. 705. And yep, that's it there. Like I said, yeah, I mean, there is progress to be made, but you know, we should try this as a new standard or whatever like that. But when they're actively making stuff go backwards, all under the guise of security theater, And it's a situation like, okay, we're going to save you from a 1 in a million chance, but we're going to inconvenience you 999,999 times otherwise. Yeah, Keith, I'm definitely going to be saying that. I mean, I'm a pretty civil person overall, but this whole thing with security needlessly destroying user interfaces, it's just ridiculous. It's all because someone doing, I can theoretically do this. And it's so brilliant. You can do it. Fantastic. You know, sensible people maybe. Anyway, I've got to stop ranting. I've got to focus on this. It just ticks me off because you spend a lot of time and effort in designing software and trying to make the usability as good as you can, only to have this sort of thing come along and wreck it. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't. The only way you can get around this is if you then create your own, in this case, file picker. But then people get confused by different file pickers or integrated file pickers because they're like, well, that's not what I was expecting. And then the features that they're looking for on the standard file picker, like recently used files or their common folders and things like that, they're just not there. So it really messes things up. Neo, I did have that at one point. I'll have to have a check. It might be in the settings. It is obviously set to 10 at the moment. But yeah, I'll have to double check that. It might have got nerfed out of there by accident. Anyway, we're going to use this unit here. Yeah, Zoltan, that's a pretty good example. Blind budget. Most of the time, like I said, I'm very civil. I rarely swear, but some things just really tick me off, and particularly when you start getting support requests for it. It's like, where did this go? Why it's not working properly? I can't find the file thingy, and you're like, ah. Okay, there we go. That should about do it. I think that this one we can't populate because they didn't arrive today. Oh, the button. We've got to put the button on. Which button will I go with today? I actually don't know. Buttons. So anyway, if you ever wonder why some programs have their own built-in custom file pickers or other things that otherwise would normally be part of the normal operating system, that's usually why. Because they're like, well, we can't control what's going to happen in the operating system, so we're going to have to do it internally. And it's kind of driving everybody back to the totally integrated application Windows system, which I find annoying because I like to be able to dock or undock stuff. So, yeah, I do know that ImGUI now lets me do the docking. It's just like, oh, great, more things for me to learn, which is fine, you know, learning's good. Sometimes you just get a little bit tired of it, though. You guys any good, or are you guys too big? I can't remember what damned buttons I picked this time around. I think that's too big again. I mean, software is already hard enough to develop without. What the hell's going on with this? This is a really weird switch I've just noticed. Oh, you don't have gold wings at all. You just have one great big central blob. Freaking hilarious. Okay, I can't use you. I thought this was a 4-pad type switch, but it's not. It's just it's more like a large, inductor, power inductor. Just two tabs either side. Okay, where the hell are my switches? Where the hell are my SMD switches? Oh man, I don't want to use these ones. I hate these ones. Really not a big fan of these metal type things. They're very awkward to activate. They don't have a lot of throw in them. And hilariously, I'm going to end up with... okay, we'll use that for worst case if I can't find something better. A lot of these switches I've just bought simply because I was either trying to design something I didn't know what I wanted or what would work, or I was just simply going, you know what, I'll leave my options open. Could have sworn when we were looking at them before that we had a lot more choices here. Well, I've got these ones. I might have to go with these. They're just sort of narrow-legged body ones. To be fair, the switch is only used for a very short period of time, so it's not a big issue. But sometimes just the smallest usability changes can sort of really change the way your product's received. Yeah, I must have put them into something else, like I put the bag of them into something else. Because what have I got? I've got a big wobble top one up there. I'll just check the box of the previous compass module and see if they're in there. No, they're not. That's weird. No, not my headers box either. Alright, just a bit weird, that's all. What happened to the switches for the PD880? Yeah, they're... I don't know where half of my stuff is. Oh well. Idiot me. Let's see. We can just... That is not a good match. I don't even think that's actually... Nope. It doesn't even touch properly. PD880. Okay, maybe they are in the PD880 then. Yeah. Hopefully I didn't throw those out into the shed. Ring light. Ow! Keyboard controller. But thanks for mentioning the ring, the PD880, because yeah, if they're going to be somewhere, that might be where they are. Yep, they're in the PD880. Thank you. Yep. I've now put them back into the switches box. Ugh. Interestingly, it's still a bit of a nuisance, that one. but it's less of a nuisance than the other option that was there. Okay. And hilariously, which one's which? Okay, we're going to go for that. Yeah, it's pretty infrequent for you to take that trolling break. Hope you didn't hurt yourself too much over that. Nyah. Okay. That's as much as I can do at this point. We'll put it on the hot plate, see how it goes. Where's the hot plate? Oh no. Oh goodness. Okay, I think I found it, but I'm also wondering how I'm going to get the appropriate power to it. The other problem I ran into is that I'm just getting so many power cords everywhere that I was getting pretty sick of it. So I'm trying to cut down the number of power cords I needed. But I see now that this is going to be fun. Basically, I used to have a power board that was pretty close by or off to the side here, but I don't anymore. It's all up high and out of the way. So let's see, I might be able to steal power from somewhere. Nope, don't want to steal it from there. See if I can find a long IEC cable. Or longish. Long enough, that's what we need. We just need long enough. This feels like a 2 meter one, so that's good. I didn't throw out cords. I just simply reduced the number of cords that were dangling everywhere. Okay, alright, we've got one. Extractor. And now we wait. Retro and you, I'm sort of like having more like a year of that or more. Not sure if it's ever going to end. Yeah, I've redesigned the workbench. What a mess. One you me, I de-googled my phone. I went and got an iPhone. Let's see, can we zoom in more on this? Which way do you want to go? There we go. Get a better view there. You can see it better than I can. And thankfully, I also redesigned the fume extractor, so now the fume extractor has no direct physical contact with the bench or the frame holding the bench to the wall. It's just freestanding now. I sort of feel like I need to redesign the head portion that holds the filter assembly. we can do that another day. Okay, we're starting to smoke off here. We're at 140, so it's actually pretty early for smoke. Yeah, Miles, that's part of the other reason why I've done the revamp, is because I needed more space to be able to create permanent placements for everything, as opposed to everything just being like thrown in whatever gap it can fit. Particularly if I'm going to be taking on more things like consoles and stuff like that, I've got to become more organized. Yeah. Okay, we're at 190. 190. It's just going to hold at 190. Which may or may not be a good idea, I'm not sure. Here it comes. Just push it up a little bit. I can't take it off unless those jacks melt. I mean, the solder pad, obviously. That's good, I can cut that now. Retro, yeah, I'm expanding on my offerings. I'm sort of in a situation where I have to. MacBook repairs are becoming a little bit too scarce. And yeah, there's a lot of other businesses that I'm got my fingers in, but I still need to keep options open. Because even with, say, 3 or 4 different things on my plate, it's surprising how quickly things can just go from being great to not so great. We used to have a pretty good buffer here for these sort of moments where things would not go so great, but we kind of used up a lot of our buffer with the renovations and managing the fur kids, particularly when we took on that last litter. It it sort of drained a lot of money from our buffer. And I'm trying to get that back, but it just happens to coincide with a time when business has taken a bit of a dive. Extractor can be off. There we go, that's better. Get back to nice quietness. Yeah, diversification. Of course, you've got to be careful you don't overstretch. I'm trying to diversify into areas that I'm already at least fairly covered with in terms of tooling and options. So consoles aren't too bad. Of course, I think the margins on consoles are going to suck compared to MacBooks. Because, so I think a Switch Lite is maybe $300 to buy new, which means your upper limit's going to be about $100 to do a job. Switch OLED is about 450, maybe 500, so your upper limit's like 150. It's really not a high margin area. Okay, let's have a look at how this little disaster went. I have a feeling that LED's backwards. That's okay. That one's correct, or should be. It looks pretty civil. Button works, that's great. Hey there, Q's. Just noticed you slipped in there. I need to get a USB mini cable. By the way, I'm assuming the audio is doing okay with the stream because I've repositioned where the receiver for this headset is. And for those who've been watching me stream for a long time, since when I got this set up, will know that there was a considerable amount of issues with the positioning of the antenna relative to the transmitter, with it dropping out and all sorts of crap. Okay, that's cool. What we're doing here initially is seeing if we can even get one light. Okay, we got one very dim red light. That's what I expected. I think what I put a 1K5 or something, whatever. It's dim. Okay, so that's fine. And now we need our other 20 volt battery, 20 volt power brick. Sorry, 24 volt power brick. For me to do the testing of the ring light. Is this you? 24 volts, yep, here we go. Again, I'm really going to have to get another power board on the side here because this is not working out. I was hoping to avoid the additional power board, but I think I'm going to have to. I can't be reaching up there all the time. Okay, which one's input? Just noticed that reflow didn't quite go right on the back corner here. That's okay. Anyway. Okay, so we have a dim red light there, so that's good. We know that it's now taking power from other options, so that's a good start. Alright, next step is I've got to program it. Fortunately that shouldn't be too much problem, says the man who's overconfident. Okay. Okay, programmed is fine. Now I've actually got to put the damned what do you call it? Compass module. Yeah, got to put the compass module on. Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, this is the old prototype. This is just an I2C to USB bridge that I made out of a USB-C meter. We're going to drop off all these wires. Extractor. 10W, yeah, the board views and schematics are somewhat less available for other things. Fortunately, at least with a lot of console stuff, the complexity is often less. Not always, but often. Not a guarantee. Ugh. By the way, if you're wondering why I don't just put this chip directly onto the board, it's because I actually intentionally want it to be on a separate daughter board. The reason being is that I need to get the compass module away from other electronics and metal sources. So if you can have it elevated away, then that's better. Okay. Looks like I could do with a little bit of a wash, to be honest. This one's been a bit neglected. Yeah, don't do it that way, Paul. That's a fine way of getting an additional thumb. This, unfortunately, is the downside of the devil's snot. So when you do want to clear a board up, then it's a right mess. There's a few Xbox ones out there. A lot of the problem though is that trying to get a board view and schematic for the same product. Like sometimes you can get a schematic for one and a board view for another, but you can't get a schematic and board view for the one product. As soon as you can get both of them, then it's fantastic. You can, even if you get a board view that hasn't got networks names populated on it, that's fine because you can usually populate those pretty quickly once you actually have both of them. The trick to doing that is, like, if you have the schematic and you've got a board view that's just got like generic names like net 1, net 2, net 3, stuff like that, you go to something like the connectors or even the CPU if you're crazy, and you can just very quickly sequentially assign the network names through Flex Board View using a bit of a trick that I haven't actually shared with anyone. But anyway, you can just go through very quickly and start populating those network names. It doesn't really make a big change in the outcome for some things, but it does help when you're sort of going from trying to find out what each bit's doing. The names can sort of like give you that bit of extra context that you might have needed. Okay. So IPA, you reckon? Yeah, let's go. Here's some IPA. By the way, if you do things like iPhone battery replacements and things like that, when you're trying to get the battery adhesive out, use ethanol, not IPA. Ethanol will make those battery strips lift right off straight away almost. But if you use IPA, you'll be there for quite some time. Ew, yuck. That looks nasty. Where's my toothbrush? But yeah, for whatever reason, the adhesive that they use on iPhone batteries, it just lets go really quickly with ethanol. Which is great on the newer phones where you've got the glass back because it's got the charge coil in the middle. And you really don't want to be forcing spudges down there or anything like that. Well, I don't think I'm going to be ultrasonicing this sucker. Anyway, I have already removed the voltage regulator and the 2 pull-ups. That's one thing that caught me out initially on these modules, is that they have their own integrated pull-ups for the I2C lines, and it messes up with the with your own ones. Yeah, come on. And of course the regulator is just a redundant part and causes its own issues. Scalpel blade right through the battery. That for the removal of them. Yeah, that will kind of work, won't it? Alright, now I've got to see whether I'm going to have to hardwire this or not. see how many I can get to match. Unfortunately, I didn't double check when I submitted these boards to get produced to see whether the stenciling contained all the information I want, and it didn't. It's, as you can see, I'm supposed to have, data clock ground 3, and that's all supposed to be printed here, but I didn't double check, and it wasn't on the anyway. So what we've got, data clock ground. Yeah, so the bastard's backwards basically. So I'll flip it over that way. And then, oh, I see I'm a pin jumped. Damn it. So other modules that I've got coming, they have the correct pinage, pin out to match this. But these ones, I don't know where I got them from, but they're obviously a little bit different. Anyway, so what we'll do is we're just going to cable it up anyway because we need to elevate it, so it's, yeah. But we'll use 3-pin servo cable for these first 3, I think. And then manually bring the 3v3 in. Yeah, let's see what I can do. Still a nuisance. Wire, where are you? Wire, caps, resistors, connectors. You're the wire box, aren't you? Yes, you are. Actually, these might be better. Actually, I'll use one of those, and then I'll run the 4th wire. So I'll put headers in on both sides. Headers. I'm fairly sure I brought my headers down here. Let's see. Yes, I did. Extractor. Hey, Steve K. Come on. Beep. It's funny, we get so impatient with the soldering irons now. Wow. Yeah, this is why I need to do things under the microscope. We get so impatient with the soldering irons now that I forget that in the early days, like when I was pre-teens, and even to some of my teens, you'd be waiting 5-10 minutes for the iron to heat up. So waiting a whole 10-20 seconds for these hackos to heat up, it's kind of sad that I'm like, come on already, come on. And what, the creature's here? Oh no. Now we're in trouble. I don't want to have to... Yeah, you're going to have to do it, Paul. You're going to have to do it. I didn't want to have to individually draw out the solder in those holes, but I am going to have to. The other way I was thinking of just using hot air and then have the headers just drop in, but the plastic on those headers really does not like hot air at all. Crikey. Oh, I was going to say, where's my flux? And I just realised I actually did leave the flux up on the shelf. Congratulations on your Micro's 4th birthday. Our Micro's having his, I think, 12th. I forget. I'll have to consult with the household computer and she will tell me. Yeah, come on, you can do it. Oops. Yep, that happens occasionally. Right, somebody didn't clear the holes properly, it seems. No biggie. I'll push down on this. As I heat it up. There we go. A little more. Good enough. Middle one. Tolerably, intolerably good. Okay. Yes, there are things you certainly never ask certain people. Oh wow, I didn't see how bad that solder joint was. We'll have to redo that one. What's that one for? Oh, that's okay, that's just for device ready. That's just an interrupt pin, we don't need that, we don't care. In fact, I should almost clip that. Yeah, Stephen, that is definitely a very real risk that you can run into. Pushing it through and then decides to snag on the pad and lift it up and out. It's all up and away. Let's see, data clock around. Okay, so for this, it's going to be a little weird, but basically we've got orange is data, red's clock, brown is ground, and then we're going to run a 4th one separately. And on here, what did I say? Yeah, so this is configured the same there. So data, yep, and so now we just got to take the 3 volt across. And we can sort of be naughty and cheat with that. Just use another one of those cables. These. Now, we want... I could have actually just redone this in the original cable. Damn it. Anyway. I could have made the cable just brown, orange, orange. Actually, maybe I will... No. Come on, out you come. There we go. It works. Well, at least it should work. It's not pretty, but it will work. Yeah, I've got several hundred of those servo cables from those old days. They haven't died or deteriorated, so I guess I may as well just keep using them. If nothing else, they're a reasonable source of reasonable quality 28 gauge stuff. Alright. Oh, well, I guess it's the time now where I have to, I think, disconnect the old one. I'm going to make up another cable there, that's right. Or do I have to? No, I'll put a terminal block on there. Like you see, there's the allowance there. So I'll put the terminal block in, and I'll use that. And then when my DC, when my jack cables come tomorrow, maybe I will be able to use it. Ah, look at that, perfect fit this time. Nice. Not like the bodge job that we had to do the previous time. Okay. Is the compass stand off a compatible project? Yes, it's yeah, it will be a 3D project thing. I just found that if I had the chip mounted to the board, it tends to be a little bit problematic. It gets a little bit too influenced when things are switching on and off. I mean, I can obviously resolve that with software by simply making it do more samples or that sort of stuff. Okay, this is really shonky town stuff. Okay, all we did then is we just tacked it in so that it holds the terminal block in, and now we can actually finish it properly. Done. Why don't you just slap the compass chip on there too? Well, that's what I was saying. I want to do originally, but I found that I prefer it that I can move the compass chip to mount it in certain locations or preferred locations. Because otherwise I find when I mount it on the microscope, it tends to sit too close to the big bodies of iron, and it influences things a little bit too much. So this way I can position it away from all the big bodies of iron and it's fine. Okay, yep. Time to switch over. It's not the power supply that's the issue, it's the magnetics, eddy currents and whatever, induced magnetic fields that are the problem. Okay, disconnect. So this is supply in, this is USB. Might be just you, creature, because I'm sitting fine at 10 megabit per second here. So I'm going to say it's you. Okay, so that's the old one. Ow. So this is my non 3D printed standoff for the moment. I don't really have anywhere that fits at the moment. Oh well. And it doesn't actually matter which way I put it, due to the way that I now do the process of selecting, what do you call it, the orientation, where to activate or not. Let's check a couple of things here. What? You should have activated. Why didn't you Holy shit, something just got really hot then. That VREG just got really hot. Which means I might have this misconfigured. Take that off. Yep, I've misconfigured this somehow. I did indeed. Offset by 1. Oh no, I'm not. Yes, yes, yes you are, Paul. Where am I? Yeah, I am. I was offset by 1. That was a stupid, stupid thing to do. Well, good thing I felt it. There we go, now it works. And see, plug this in. Now, at this point, yeah, okay. At this point, it's causing stream switching, so we know it works. Which is why you can't see squat. Okay, hot glue gun. I still haven't seen Jim on here lately. Jim Bird, Jim. Hey Tom. Let's give this a bit of a twist. Had a Chrome update waiting a week. I can't imagine that should have caused it, but you never know. You really do never know. I'm going to try and orientate this the way it was. Really nice. Could do with a piece of wood or something, a piece of dowel. Or a 3D printed holder. That would be truly the ideal thing. Yeah, we're gonna wait for this to warm up. Jim has been posting bird videos. Yeah, I'm not sure why he hasn't been dropping in here. I mean, yeah, fine if he doesn't want to, that's fine. I'm just more concerned because, like, he normally does want to. This is the printed bracket that I used that goes over the actual microscope assembly. Let's see if we can zoom out and get that. Probably not. Oh yeah, you can just. Yeah, it just sort of sits over the end of the microscope there. Some fine adjustments yet to be made on it, but basically with these tabs here it locks it into position. So it stops it pivoting around when you're moving the microscope. Perhaps sleeping when you can. Yeah, I mean that's perfectly acceptable for now. Come on. Ready to go yet? I love it when they say, it takes a minute to warm up, and yet it really takes 4 or 5 minutes sometimes. Frustrating. But still, it's nice having a portable hot gun. I did think of having a small circuit board interposer. So like instead of this cable and connectors, you just have a circuit board that you mount at right angles, and then you have this up here, and ideally with no flood fill in it, just the bare traces, nothing more. Hey, Subtle Bridge. Yeah, double-sided tape would do it by now, but unfortunately double-sided tape has a really bad habit of becoming single-side tape at inappropriate times. You don't actually see too many of these ones around. This one Jim got me. I'm guessing came from AliExpress or eBay, I think it was. They're not as common as I would have expected. Okay. I just realised I went over my UPDI port. Well, that's just hilarious. That's okay. Hopefully we won't have to program it again. Okay, it's turned off. Now, unfortunately, the cable that goes to the what do you call it? To the actual ring light, it's a little bit short. But anyway, you remember this when we did the ferrules before. Now I've got to look at this. Okay, so positive is on the outside. Again, something on the silk screen that I didn't get through. But like I said, it's not going to be a big issue because when the DC jack cables arrive, hopefully tomorrow, it's not going to matter because then I'll just be plugging one in there, and we're done. Okay, slip it onto the microscope. Bring our cables up. Okay, that's in. Already activated. Right, that just reminds me, I've actually got to do the whole rotation of the area I don't want being active. Okay. And that's it. Need a little hot glue under here. It's a smidge counterintuitive. Basically, what happens is when you power it up, you hold down the button, you apply power, and then you sweep out the area that you want it to be considered to be the off zone. And then when you let go of the button, it blinks and says, okay, we're done. And that's it. It's as simple as that. There are 32 different segments in the off. So in a circle, it's divided into 32 segments. So what's that? 12, 11 degrees, 11.85 degrees, or something like that. You may go 1 up 36 or something like that. It's just simply because 32 fits nicely into a 32-bit or 4-byte number, and it makes it very easy then to have just a single uint32 that holds the on-off status of every single segment in the circle. So it makes it very efficient for doing this kind of code. What tool was the battery scavenge from? I'm not actually sure, Tony. Yeah. Okay, let's see if this works. Yep, there we go. New unit works. Huzzah! Yeah, you can see the old. We have the bodging wiring there, and what happened there? Oh, me trying to quieten down the brightness of the LEDs. The Turnigy silicon 24 gauge wire. Yeah, so this will be another sort of thrown into the scrap bin, so to speak. It won't get thrown out. It'll just be a scrap unit to take parts off or whatever. Probably it'll never get looked at again, but I don't like to throw these things in the bin too quickly. It's easy just to keep a big box of this sort of stuff, and that's the end of that. So yeah, no bodges on this one. I will need to 3D print something for that compass module holder. Like I said, it only needs to be an inch or two above the board and away from the main metal. I'll see if I'll show you guys. Yeah, you can see there. So it's basically, the real problem is this cast iron. I think it's cast, whatever it is. This sort of stuff, it seems to influence the magnetics a fair bit when you've got other power stuff going, but as soon as I step it away a little bit, it's fine. Yeah. And yeah, I just need to refine the 3D holder bracket a little bit more. It should be good. Something fun to do. Nice. I don't think I'll probably have to do any more revisions on that board. I think that's pretty much set so far as I'm concerned. Yeah. And yeah, works perfectly fine. And the nice thing is, because you can manually set that where it's in the off phase and all that, you don't have to worry about the software programming it to pick the degrees or anything like that. It just makes it a lot easier. Of course, I still am using the software to do the keyboard triggering, like to turn the OpenBroadcaster on or off and things like that. But the actual light power switch on and off, that's handled by the board itself. Whereas before, I had a USB controlled relay that was doing the light switching on and off. So we've amalgamated two things together, and I think we've made it a fair bit easier to use. Am I going to produce these? I don't know, probably not. It's one of those sort of projects that it's great to do for yourself, but if you try to commercialize it, it's probably not going to go so well. But it really is very handy, and being able to have OpenBroadcaster switch scenes for me automatically, I really wouldn't be able to survive with that. I don't know how other people do it, like where they have to sit there. Even if you have one of those Elgato scene switching decks, you've still got to remember to do it. Whereas at least with this, I just swing the microscope in, it switches that, swing it out, and it switches back to the overhead. Much easier. Alright then, well, listen, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. Glad to see it actually worked. Hopefully tomorrow my cables will arrive, and I'll be able to put that protection diode on for the USB lines as well. Not that it's super critical, but because I am dealing with the 24 volt supply and the USB supply coming together, tying the grounds together, I just want to have a little bit of protection just in case something weird happens, but hopefully it should be okay. Anyway, hopefully it all should be good tomorrow. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Till then, you all take care. I'll see you later.